So yesterday was a weird day for women's college basketball, and it was a funny one because I think a lot of some of the top teams did not look particularly great. Like USC and South Carolina did not look like the best and third best teams respectively in the dub or in women's college basketball. They didn't. At the same time, though, when it comes to South Carolina, they really looked like they struggled on the inside without Camilo Cardoso. Like Chloe Kitts had a good game, and like Tahina Pau was fine, but like Cardoso was such a big part of that team. The one thing about them though is that Watkins is. It seems like she's back. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's no point speculating on that. But charges were dropped. I think it was one of those things where it's like, you can get charges dropped even without being proven innocent. But I don't really care. At the end of the day, if charges are dropped, she'll be back. Like, she's good enough at basketball. No matter what happens, she'll be back. Like, we have no idea. So there's no point in speculating too much on that. The one big problem with them though is Raven Johnson cannot shoot the ball. Like, she is one of the worst shooters for the guard position I have ever seen. Like, people are talking about her shooting 35%. She shoots 35% because teams do not guard her. Like, they treat her like they will double down, they will double off her, they do not guard her. And she shoots something like 15% if there's a moderate contest there. I think she shoots like under 20% if somebody's even attempting to close out. Like, she is one of the worst shooters for a guard I have ever seen in basketball. But she's also the best defensive guard in the country. And yesterday's game, like, I watched her play, like, she is locked down. And it's like, she won't be a first round pick in the W this year, but she's someone where you're like, get her with a second or third round pick and just have her there early in her career as a situational player, because she's a decent playmaker. Have her there as a situational player. If you're getting cooked by a guard, she comes on the floor, and hope that by the end of her rookie deal, when you're paying her on a rookie deal, she figures out how to even be a bad shooter. Because like in the W, she will not shoot. I'm telling you, like, she'll be like an 18% 3-point shooter, because the players are bigger, the players are faster, the players are more athletic, and they're going to be able to leave her open while not leaving her as open as they do with USC. But one thing about that game though is Silas Swords was the big player. Like I watched her a little bit at the Olympics and was impressed considering she was 18. But like, it's just the ball. She's just a bucket. Like, the ball just goes in. She's got a quick release. She can finish with both hands. She releases the ball at weird positions, so she's hard to block. And she's just crafty. And like, they almost beat South Carolina. Unranked Michigan, off the, like, being led by an 18-year-old Canadian who is superb, by the way. Absolutely superb. Nearly beat South Carolina, which is huge. And that's one of the things where I'm like, if you are one of these 5-star recruits, we're seeing more and more now where it's like, you can go to an unranked team. Like, you don't have to go play for Staley. We've seen it with, like, as great as Fulwiley is. Like, Fulwiley is not that much less talented than Hidalgo. She's not that much less talented than JuJu Watkins. Maybe, like, she's not as good as them, but like, she's not that much worse. But like, we saw her do almost nothing yesterday for South Carolina, where it's like, if she went to a different college and she could be that type of player, and we've seen with a Caitlin Clark that that's not going to stunt your development. It's not going to harm your development at all. For UCLA, Lauren Betts was exceptional. She's just huge. She is a really, really good player, and like, you just can't really, you just, like, they won. UCLA are going to be tough to beat. She's just good. When she gets the ball inside, she's going to dominate. And I'm sorry, like, why in ESPN's graphic was Flaw J. Johnson not there? Like, yesterday was a statement game. LSU, why are LSU so slept on? Like, they won the national championship 2 years ago. They were in the final They were in the Final Four, or not Final Four, Elite Eight last year. This team is not that much worse than the team that won the championship. It's not. Like, unpopular opinion, this current version of Flau'jae is a better basketball player than Angel Reese was in 2023. Obviously, different positions, so it's hard to compare, but as a more impactful basketball player. This LSU team, why they're ranked so low, Anissa Morrow, whether or not you think Anissa Morrow is a good WNBA prospect or not, she is, like, she's still unbelievable in college. And Angel Reese is gone. Haley Van Lit's gone. Bit of a disappointing year last year. But, like, I don't know what I did just there. But you've still got Mulkey. Like, Mulkey's still a good coach. Like, when you've got all of that, and then you've also got now 2 of the best 6 players in the country. Like, for me, you can argue that Morrow and Flau'jae are 2 of the best 6. I don't understand why they're so slept on. LSU are going to be brilliant. And also, Olivia Miles in her first game back for what, like a year and a half, comes out with a triple-double, which is big for her. Like, her passing is exceptional. It is absolutely exceptional. And look, they were playing against terrible opponents, but she is as good a passer as there is in women's college basketball. She's as good a passer, like a throw-ahead passer, as I've seen. She's a good flashy passer. Like, there are hints of, I think there are more, a lot of people are saying, like, there's hints of Caitlin Clark. I think there are hints of Chelsea Gray there more than anything. The problem is, with Olivia Miles, is she is a very, very mediocre shooter. Like, mediocre is, I know she went 1 of 2, but, like, she is not a shooter. And that's kind of what the problem if she goes to a Chicago Sky, where a lot of people feel like Olivia Miles would be best suited, where it's like, she can't shoot the ball well enough for the Sky. And the Sky cannot go out there with a lineup of Kennedy Carter, with their best shooter being Michaela Onyenwere. But fair play to her, 8 of 12 in the field, coming back after being out for a year and a half, which is so, so impressive. But yeah, college basketball there was a lot of not great basketball, to be honest, from a lot of teams. And if you are South Carolina, I wouldn't be as worried. Like, they won at the end of the day. If you're USC, if you're South Carolina, like USC almost losing to Ole Miss would have been a shock. South Carolina almost losing to Michigan is a shock. But there's a lot of good teams this year. Like, no one's gonna go undefeated. Surely no one's gonna go undefeated. That's just my prediction. Because I think LSU are great. I think South Carolina are a good team. But it's not gonna be. There's no dominant team like there was last year. Because as good as South Carolina are, you don't have Camila Cardoso to bail you out no matter what. Like, to bail, no matter what happens, you always had that outlet where you can just dump it down to Cardoso and she would score. And you don't have that anymore. For LSU, you don't really have as great, like, to be fair, I was about to say, you don't have an Angel Reese rebounder, but I was like, you do have Anissa Morrow, who's not that far off. For USC are very reliant on their main 2 players, and it's going to be interesting to see how UConn get on. But this is going to be a good year because there are a lot of really good teams, there are a lot of really good players, and there are no flawless teams. Like, every team you look at, there are weak points. There are weak points. Like, for South Carolina, you've got, like, the problem is at the minute you can help off Raven Johnson, but Raven Johnson's so good at everything else in basketball, in the sport of basketball, that you can't really, you can't keep her off the floor, but she can be a liability on the floor at times. With LSU, I don't know, maybe they just didn't come off the greatest season last year, but Flau'jae seems to have a point to prove. With UConn, they haven't been able to get it done for years. No one knows about the health of AZ Fudd, what she's going to be like when she comes back. Then you've got, obviously, USC, who are way too reliant on 2 players. And yeah, Notre Dame could be a good team too. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys.